Voting machines and technology. Welcome once again to Spin Cycle America, where we talk about what is happening in the world around us. I'm your host, Todd. We're going to go ahead and continue our series about voting fraud and how it can exist and what we can do to prevent it. So let's get started. Hey everyone, again, welcome to day 4 of our 6-day series on election integrity under scrutiny. We've covered fraud basics, foreign interference, and ballot or mail-in ballot so far. Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about voting machines and technology. One of the most debated topics: are they secure? Can they be hacked? And what role do paper ballots and audits play? We'll look at the vulnerabilities, documented issues, and what actually protects our votes. So there are different types of voting systems. First off, not all voting machines are the same. Direct recording electronics (DRE) machines, which are touch screens with no paper record in older versions. These are the riskiest. Now check this out. 2004, recently, 2004, 28.9% of the registered voters in the United States use some type of direct recording electronic voting system, up from 7.7% in 1996. That's just last year or a year ago. Ballot marking devices, BMDs, touch screen that print paper ballots for you to review. Optical scanners read paper ballots, often the most common and verifiable. Many states use a mix of these. The question is whether there's a trustworthy paper record. Again, I'll ask you this question: is your vote actually counted? Real vulnerabilities. Voting equipment can have problems. Outdated software and operating systems. Some still run on the old Windows versions, kind of like our plane systems uh, used to run on that, but now they're starting to get updated software equipment. Physical access risk. Someone with a USB or brief access could theoretically install malware. Just imagine how that can mess up your day. Demonstrated weaknesses in lab tests. Researchers have shown how certain machines can be compromised. So again, I ask you this question: is your vote really being counted? Examples include reports on Dominion systems in Georgia and concerns about supply chain or insider threats. These aren't imaginary. Independent researchers have found serious flaws in testing. The reality check, audits, and paper trails. The good news is, and yes, that is kind of funny, there is good news in all this. Most modern systems produce paper valid or voter verifiable paper records, post-election audits, and risks limiting audits. Compare machine counts to hand counts of paper. In close races or statewide, these catch discrepancies, or they're supposed to. Official reviews after 2020 and 2024, including in contested states, found only tiny error rates. So nothing systematic or outcome changing. No credible evidence of widespread machine flipping in certified states or results. So direct interest or direct internet connection is rare or banned in most places, which makes remote hacking much harder. This should make you feel a little bit better that the systems cannot be hacked. And you've heard that on the news about systems being hacked. They can't. It's very hard for them to be hacked. The only thing that could happen is on the old systems, they were using it, that they could come in and put a malware system in there or put malware in there. So reforms that could help, and here's what could work: require paper ballots everywhere, mandatory risk limiting audits after every election, regular security testing and certifications, air gapping machines, no internet, transparent source code review where possible, plus when do verifications or checks and balance. So have two people do the checks when you're checking it, when you're verifying. States that do these well have high confidence. So in other words, the people in those states feel confident about their votes. And I know I'm going to get backlash on this, but most of your Democratic states don't have these types of checks and balances. You've heard it before. Somebody stuffing ballot boxes, or somebody uh, taking or trying to cheat, or whatever. So you need to double check your, um, the debate should focus on upgrading old equipment and universal paper, plus audits and conspiracy claims without proof. Okay, so it is getting better. We're not having all the major issues, but everybody needs. My opinion is we need to go into one system across the board, and it needs to have that checks and balance. There needs to be two people checking and balancing it, and we need to uh, make sure that it's has a paper trail to it as well. Everywhere you go, you see that we need to have a paper trail in your personal business. They have a paper trail. So in closing, that's day 4. Tomorrow on day 5, we're going to cover registration rolls, non-citizen voting concerns, and other domestic issues. So I'm going to be running a series here real soon, starting next week, on socialism, and they're wanting to allow non-citizens to be able to vote. And how does that make sense when our Constitution says no? So we need to really crack down on stuff like that. So this is can be a domestic issue as well. So again, tomorrow we're going to cover voter registration rolls, non-citizen voting concerns, and other domestic issues. So what are your concerns or thoughts on voting technology? Put your comments with resources below. Subscribe and hit the bell. Sources and descriptions are located below as well. See you tomorrow again on another episode of Spin Cycle America. You all have an outstanding day, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.